And we are back with another edition of the Blue Review, a Wednesday edition. Dodgers get the win over the Miami Marlins, 8-2. The Yamamoto show continues to impress us. Just another great outing. So we will get into all of that and more because Corporate Greg was at the game. So we're gonna have some fun with that. I gotta add the image into the switcher still. It's there somewhere, but
behind, man.
I know. But before we do anything. Before we get into this game, I want to remind everyone, us at the Blue Review, we're here and presented by the Los Angeles International Airport. Almost had a little mini stroke on a Wednesday morning. LAX, our friends there are just doing great things over there. Our Sedano's home away from home, as you hear on the station all of the time. They are just reducing traffic, saving guest time, and just creating a great atmosphere there. So if you want to learn more, you can find it out at flylax.com/transforminglax. So Greg, let's go ahead and just get right into this. Let's start it off from the top.
Sure.
We want to hear about your experience at the game, your mandate, shall we call it?
It was absolutely a mandate, and I was there with Cappy, Scott Kaplan from the afternoon show. It was a great time with Cappy. We got there. Obviously, he didn't get off until 6:30. The game started at 7:10, so we got there just a slight bit late. We were walking into the stadium as Max Muncy hit the grand slam, so it was just a big old roar as we first walked in. So it's like, oh, something just happened. Looked at my phone, Muncy grand slam. So that was obviously great to not see it, apparently, but I would have liked to have seen that. But either way, it was just really good experience. We hung out in the press room for a little bit. We went down to field level and just kind of walking around the whole stadium, watching the game and trying to look for something to eat. And as we were walking by the Yamamoto Dugout Club, Cappy knew some people from Yamamoto that just happened to be there walking around. And they brought us down into the Dugout Club. We got some food, and then they gave that. It all happened pretty late in the game, and then we got to by the end of the 8th inning. There's where me and Cap, the bottom of the 8th inning. That's where me and Cap were, right behind home plate, watching the game, and that was pretty incredible. So I think that's JP Fireeisen right there. That's pitching in the top of the 9th. But we also saw Tanner Scott for the Marlins. That dude's got gas, man. That dude is good. If there's someone to go after for the Dodgers to look at, that dude has some power and just blows guys away. Now, it was like Chris Taylor and Gavin Lux, but for the most part, he was pretty dang good. But it was a fun time. It was a blast. Have you ever sat that close, Marcus?
Not directly behind home plate. I once sat behind the Dodger dugout, like second or third row. And this is before they had the netting up there. I will tell you, it was like 9 innings of pure terror because I was afraid that somebody was going to just rip a line drive into foul territory. So like I almost didn't enjoy it because I was on alert so much, just like not wanting to get smoked by like a left-handed hitter hitting a line drive over there.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was just cool to be back there. I've never sat that close either, but it was by sitting there, you can actually see like the pitch move. You could see how much, like I was saying, the power. And Beto Duran just walked in, but he doesn't actually want to come over here and say a word. He just wants to sit here and stare at me while I'm doing this. So that
sounds about right. That sounds about right.
That's Beto. That's how Beto works around here. But yeah, it was just a really cool experience. So we can move on from that portion of the show.
We lost.
Oh, Parker.
We
lost you, Parker. Did you
Hi, how we doing?
There we go.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Yeah, just jump in. I have a.
Oh, please, yeah, Beto. Come on in.
Oh, Marcus is here.
Yeah.
What's up, Beto?
Marcus is here. Hey, by
take
the way,
this
Marcus, you've done an excellent job on this show. But
I appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
man,
I love
yeah.
the sharing of the headphones. It's always my
this
favorite
is,
thing to do.
I just popped in because the Dodger Day game play at 12, so I came into the studio to hang out for a little bit and then see the Blue Review in person. This is great.
Nice
Yeah,
to see
you were there yesterday also, Beto. It
I
was
was
Mexican
there-
Independence Day.
No.
No, sorry, I got that one wrong. It's a Santa. Go ahead. I just looked like an idiot. Go
Mexican Heritage Night.
Mexican Heritage
right.
Night.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that's later on.
Yeah. So what happened was Grupo Firme, who's really big. They're from the Rio Grande Valley. They threw out the first pitch. They were out there. Sinisa started through the first pitch, and it's good marketing because Cinco de Mayo, I think the Dodgers were out of town, whatever it was. But yeah, it was good. Seriously, I just came in to watch the show, live studio audience, Marcus. So
Awesome.
today I'm gonna go at 12 o'clock game. If anybody wants to join me, I think tickets are like $12 right now. So I'm gonna go hang out at 12 o'clock and watch the Marlins.
If you go to a
Cool.
game with Beto, you find Beto, he will find a way to get you to very nice places.
Yes. Just like you and Kaplan down yesterday in the front row, acting like you've never been there before, Kaplan. Now you, Berg, you know how to behave.
Yeah.
But Kaplan's like, "Hey, anybody, you guys watching? I'm on."
Yeah.
Rookies. But before I leave, though, there is a good shout out. Villalobos for Eli Villalobos for the Marlins, a reliever. He made his major league debut on Sunday. He went to Sonora High in La Habra. Then he went to Golden West JUCO, where one of the coaches there is Rick Monday's son. And then he pitched at Long Beach State. So the guy's like 27, 28 years old who made his debut on Sunday. Good to see him. Always had that local connection.
Thanks.
All right, bye,
SoCal born
Marcus.
and raised.
Bye, Parker.
See you, Beto. Good to see you,
Great
man.
to see you,
See ya,
Beto.
Beto. Thanks, man.
Yeah, it's funny the story about Villalobos
Put it on
too.
the
That
wrong
when
year. You know, you
that
should
when
put
he
it in the other
made
year.
his when Villalobos made his debut a couple days ago, I think they said on the broadcast his parents were actually on a cruise, so they couldn't make. They were like out at sea, so they couldn't make it back to see his debut. But I think they've since gotten back to Los Angeles. And I think he gave them a ball from his major league debut, which is very cool.
Oh, that's pretty crazy. Did you know that, Beto, that his parents were on a cruise? Yeah, that's nuts. All right.
Man, well,
Beto's still just watching, just so you're
live
aware.
studio audience, like you said, live studio audience. We do things big here outside of sharing headphones on the Blue Review.
Yeah. He needs to put it on the other ear. So it's close. He put it on the outside ear and made it harder.
Yeah. One of these days, we'll just get a mic connected to the iPad. But that's neither here nor there.
I would like to get that fixed. Yes.
Yeah. So Yamamoto, guys, I think that's the most pressing topic. That's what we got to get into. He went 8 innings, and I mean, dude, he's the only Dodger to do that in the last 2 years since Glasnow, which just sounds like an insane stat. 8 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs. Of course, he got hit for a couple jacks. 5 strikeouts. The command looked amazing. So, Marcus, I'll start over with you. Just what did you see out of Yamamoto? I thought that this might have been his best performance in terms of command-wise. What did you think?
No, absolutely, easily was. You mentioned the command was amazing. It's funny. He gives up a home run on the first pitch, and then just shoved pretty much the rest of it. He gives up the home run a little bit later, but was in complete command pretty much from the beginning. I don't know what the final tally was of overall pitches to strikes, but I mean just was all over the strike zone. Oral Hershiser mentioned it last night that it's easy. You give up a home run on the very first pitch, it's easy to sort of get scared out of the strike zone, but he was not. And even when he missed, they were purposeful misses. They were good misses. But just it was everything I kind of had been wanting to see from him. And it's getting better every start, it feels like, because he has been more aggressive in the strike zone. He's finding ways to get people out. I thought another interesting point that they made on the broadcast last night, that I guess in Japan, the strike zone tends to be a little bit wider. So he's more used to working sort of inside, outside. Now he's starting to learn how to work up and down in the strike zone. So if he can get a little bit more two-dimensional with this, that makes him even more difficult to deal with because the movement is there. The fastball was jumping. It was incredible last night. Yeah,
he's really kind of figured himself out after that bad outing against the Padres. He gave up a couple of runs, and like you said, that first one there, it was 73 strikes in 97 pitches.
Wow.
So he was absolutely hammering the strike zone. And you can do that against these teams. If he does it against good teams and continues to get those outs, he's going to be great for the rest of the way. But it's very encouraging to see how well he has turned out to be on this team. It was funny. I saw a clip this morning. There was a guy named Greg Amsinger who's on the MLB network. Mm-hmm. He started off the broadcast did you see this, Marcus?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. He started off the broadcast against the before the game, and he said, "We are already on no hit watch for Yoshinobu Yamamoto. No hit watch." And the very first pitch to the very first batter, it was a home run. I think that's just absolutely amazing.
I mean, Josh Chisholm was the Michael Jordan like me. I took that personally. Like he just to make sure that this does not become a thing. But after that, it was hard to find Marlins on base because Yamamoto was just so good. No walks last night. No walks, 5 strikeouts. I mean, that's amazing.
He's also he just doesn't walk a lot of guys just in general. I think he has a little bit of a problem with maybe giving up a couple too many home runs. He's more of a ground ball pitcher in general, but he has given up I think 5 home runs, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's the most on the team right now. So that's something that hopefully he can kind of keep the ball in the park a little bit more. But at the same time, he just doesn't walk dudes. That's just because he's so aggressive and can find that plate like you were talking about, the strike zone. He does not. I think where is it? It's 8 walks on the season.
Yeah,
on the season so far, which is fantastic. And so more Beto. Is this what happened here?
we got another live studio audience. This time he's watching the young guy go.
Oh, hey, look at that!
He's gonna watch you now. Is Beto gonna? You can ask him, Parker. Is Beto gonna drive over to Marcus's house next and just sit behind him and watch?
I'm gonna just tell you that the show will be long over.
Yeah, he said, "Are you driving over to Marcus's now to watch him?"
So yeah, it's gonna be done.
No, I leave the professionals alone.
That's right.
Thanks, Beto.
Don't get nervous. I'm gonna be right here.
Thank you.
To your point, though, Greg, about Yamamoto giving up home runs, is it wild to see the way the ball is flying at Dodger Stadium this year? I mean, maybe some of it's like the guys who are hitting it, like Ohtani can hit the ball out of literally anywhere, but it just feels like the ball is flying a lot more than I'm used to seeing at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, it kind of is. I mean, it's very much still in my mind a pitcher's park, but the fact of it, you're right. It all depends on like the weather and what's happening, but just like day games, it doesn't fly out as well. There's a whole bunch of little things with that, but it is. But I very much could be the fact that is the guys like Ohtani are on this team now, and Max Muncy is blasting balls out, and all these other dudes are just it's a home run hitting team. It's a home run hitting league now.
So for the record, I've never heard of onlyhomers.com. I just found this via a Google search, but according to onlyhomers.com, Dodger Stadium has surrendered the most home runs of any ballpark so far this year. 59.
Wow.
At Dodger Stadium. The next closest is Camden Yards with 55.
55.
Wow.
Well, Camden was always kind of a home run ballpark, but that is interesting. We're going to have to keep an eye on that. And
good.
No, I was just going to say the reason that is the case, it's kind of hard to pin down because, like you said, Greg, it's been a pitcher's ballpark this whole time. And I mean, maybe it is because the Dodgers offense is just so potent.
Crazily, Coors Field is at the bottom with 21.
Oh,
humidors. That can only be humidors.
Humidors and a home team that can't hit. I think
a team that is actually pretty god awful. So yeah, it could be a lot of different things there.
All right, so sticking to Yamamoto, guys, his 4th straight start of 6+ innings. I mean, did you guys agree with the fact, Greg? I'll start with you, that he went 8 innings in general. I know that we want to see him get that pitch count. I agree with it.
It did happen.
I mean, do you agree with the decision to keep him in there while they were up, 8-2?
Yeah. So one of the cool things about being when you get to go on a press credentials, Cappy and I went down to and watched Dave Roberts speak afterwards, and he said that it very much was not even a thought to take him out of that game at that point. His pitch count was pretty down. He didn't have any signs of slowing down. He has an extra day that he's going to be having off, so there wasn't anything in a workload perspective. It just absolutely made sense, and he came through for him. So I had no issues with him going 8 in that situation. He's not way over his crazy pitch limit of it wasn't at like 110 pitches going into that inning. So he ended with 97. I think he's fine.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty much right in line with the pitch count he's had in pretty much all of his other starts. So it wasn't like he was being stretched or taxed or anything like that. And so many of those innings were fairly quick, really low stress innings. And it came a night after you had to use the bullpen for 5. So I think this kind of worked for everybody. It stayed within what they really want out of him on a start-to-start basis. It gave you a chance to rest the bullpen, especially knowing you've got a day game coming up today. You got a short turnaround before you have to get back going again. So it kind of gave most of your bullpen pretty much a night off. So I think it just made sense last night.
Yeah. I forgot to mention earlier, because we were talking about his command and pounding the strike zone and just getting strikes. He actually did do something that no Dodger has done on record since the pitch tracking era started in 2000. He started off the game with 19 straight strikes.
Wow.
So I don't know if
wild.
That's insane. You can hear Beto over here just giving Yamamoto the praise, clapping it up. I think he's becoming, honestly, a superstar right in front of our eyes. Looking at his counterpart, the other big free agent signing from the Japanese league, Shota Imanaga, who's also just absolutely dealing.
Yeah.
I think looking at those two, there's a little bit of an age difference, so experience is a little different. But I mean, Yamamoto and Imanaka just coming over here and absolutely dealing, I think, is a great sign for MLB. And just moving forward, the diversity and seeing the game change a little bit is really cool to see.
And there's going to be another one probably coming to the Dodgers
LA,
specifically next year. Yeah, Roki Sasaki is going to be the next guy that comes next year, and so there's going to be a lot. The pitchers over there, the hitters over there. The game is expanding, and it's very, very big over in Japan and in Korea, and more and more players are going to start coming over here, and it's a great for the game of baseball.
Well, and I think I think the way the game, you talk about it expanding, I think I'm no expert in the NPB or anything like that, but you get the sense that it is starting to kind of mirror the American game a little bit more. And maybe it's because you have so many Americans that have gone over there, because it seems like the learning curve is getting shorter. A lot of times you'd have these guys come over from Japan or Korea, and they would end up being good potentially, but it might take them a couple of years to sort of ramp up. And now, I mean, we are seeing guys jump in right away. I mean, the way that Imanaga has taken to the Cubs rotation, the way that Yamamoto is throwing for the Dodgers, I think it speaks to how the two countries and the games are starting to become a lot more similar now. Yeah,
you're right, because in the past, and probably in the early 2000s, when the guys like Kazi Shii were coming over, they would come over and they'd be out the gate, they'd be amazing. They start the seasons like 10-0, 11-0, and just be unhittable. And then they would just have a complete fall off. I don't think that's going to happen so much anymore. We saw it with Kodai Senga with the Mets last year. He was just really, really good. Now he's out so far this year, but the game, you're right, is completely changing over there to be able to be more over here as well. And that's where people are coming. I think there was a whole story. I don't know exactly how it went, but they're changing the posting rules. There's a lot of things to allow more guys to come over too.
Wow. So complete 180. Let's look at the other side. We were talking about some home runs earlier. Muncy with the biggest one of all yesterday, the grand slam. I mean, we were getting lots of guys on base, but ironically, the Marlins actually out-hit the Dodgers yesterday, 6-5, because the big three did absolutely nothing, which the fact that they still won 8-2 was crazy.
Pretty rare, yeah.
Yeah. But let's take a look at Muncy's grand slam. Seeing him just continue to rake has been a great sign for the Dodgers. Greg, I'll start with you, because you got there right as it happened and saw it on your phone.
I saw that had happened. I didn't get to watch it. It's too bad.
Looking back on it and seeing the highlights of that grand slam, I mean, it almost looked like a pop-up, and then it just continued to go. Oppo, what are you seeing out of Muncy so far this year?
Muncy just seems more like himself than I've seen him in a couple of years. He is being patient at the plate. He's looking for his pitch, and when he gets that pitch, he is going full force with it. And you're seeing, he's back. He's hitting the ball well again, just in general. So he's hitting doubles, he's hitting singles, it's not just home run or bust like it has been the last few years. And the walks are there as well. So it's just really nice to see it. And by the way, I just want to say one thing about that top of the lineup. This is the type of game that you need from yesterday. The top of the lineup had one hit, and everybody else did stuff for them. That's when you know it's going well for the Dodgers, because if they have an off night, which they did, everybody else picked him up. The rest of the lineup picked him up, and I love seeing that. But back to Muncy for you, Marcus.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, it's great. I think one of the more encouraging things too is seeing that opposite field power, because he's got 2 home runs now to the opposite field, and I think it's a little bit of him sort of getting back into himself. I think that elbow injury was pretty gnarly, and I think it's gonna I think it took some time for him to sort of work his way out of that, and I think he's starting to come around again. So to see him going the other way with the ball, and it's funny when Parker, you talk about it looked like a pop-up. I mean, when he hit it, my first thought was, all right, well, that'll get a run home. And then I'm watching the outfield, and I'm like, oh, that thing's got some carry to it. And it ends up getting out. I'm like, that's pretty impressive. So I think that's really, really good. Let's throw in the fact that we're talking about him at the plate, but the defense has been good for Max Muncy as well.
Very.
He's just looking more and more like the guy that we saw a couple of years ago before he had that awful injury before the playoffs.
So I see in the chat Junior E out here predicting some home run totals for Muncy. He says 35 to 40 home runs this year. So Marcus, I'll start with you. Home run total for Muncy on the season, and then we'll go to Greg.
I don't know that I get quite that high. I'll give him, let's just call it an even 30. How about we say that?
See, I don't see why not, Marcus. I think he had 36 last year, so he very much
36
has
last
the
year.
power. Yeah, it was 30. Is that the right number? 36. I'm pretty sure it's right around
believe so.
there.
Yeah, 36.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I think he can absolutely do that again, and I'll go higher. I'm going to say 40. I'm going to say a flat
40 from Greg.
I'm going flat 40.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right.
Another guy that had a home run, by the way. I don't know where you were going next, Parker.
It was directly there.
Okay, go ahead.
Gavin Lux. I mean, first home run since 2022, guys. It was beautiful. I texted the chat. I mean, as soon as it happened, just pandemonium. I was going crazy.
He crushed it.
It was beautiful. Too. Yeah, absolutely laser shot.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, it's been great. You know, he's starting to hit a little bit more, which is nice. He's still going to be in a platoon, right? They're still not going to start him against left-handed pitching, but now you have that level of confidence that on the days he is on the field, that he's going to hit. He's going to contribute to the lineup, and you know, it's not going to sound spectacular when I say this, but he's up to 191 now, guys. He's hitting 191. Look, from where he was to where he is now. I mean, I think that is notable that he's really starting to get comfortable. And yeah, we keep saying it. He missed an entire year, pretty much a calendar year of baseball. It is a game that, you know, is so based in timing and so based in routine, and he didn't have that for a year. And so now that started to come back to him. So I think we're starting to see the benefits of that.
Yeah, I hope this is the start of something. I really, really do. If he's getting close to that Mendoza line, which is great, get over that, and then the rest is gravy. But yeah, hopefully we're starting to see some power. It's not just about hitting home runs. They got enough dudes that hit home runs. Yeah, it's keeping the line moving, consistently getting on base, raising his on base percentage to a level that if he's in the 8 or 9 hole, then Mookie comes up and can bring him in, or Shohei or Freddie or Will Smith. Like, by just keeping that line moving around, that's what he's there for. So if he does end up only hitting singles, but he's doing it consistently and he's hitting, 280, 300, something along those lines, and and shows a little bit of power here and there, and hitting with runners in scoring position to keep that line moving, then I think he'll be great. And we can maybe see that actually also helps the Dodgers in another sense of you have your second baseman, and Miguel Rojas doesn't have to play all the time. He doesn't have to play against lefties. He doesn't have to be taxed. And when he comes in, he is a viable guy to go out there and continue hitting. So if that's the way that this works out, I'm very, very happy with it. It's still a very small sample size. It was one. I hope that it just continues.
Hey, look, I tell you what, if you believe the roster and what he's listed at as on the roster, he is hitting his weight. He's listed at 190. He's hitting 191.
That's amazing.
Gavin Lux is hitting his weight right now.
Yeah. Wow. And I mean, at 89 at-bats, I think that is encouraging, because once you start getting up towards 89, 100, it starts to get hard to get that average up. So seeing him starting to move it up slowly but surely is good for the Dodgers. Positives all around. So today, as Beto mentioned earlier, we have an afternoon game, a 12 o'clock game. Gavin Stone on the mound. If you see Beto there, I can't leave my producing gig. You
ain't producing nothing. Let's go.
He's producing the YouTube
all day.
You stop. He's producing the YouTube. That's important.
Beto's a great influence, guys. Trying to get me to play hooky.
Meeting. I try to get Bergman to go. I said, "It's a meeting."
I mean, it is a work trip technically.
It is a work trip.
You're researching. Yeah.
True. Well, again, if you're there, find Beto. He'll hook you up. He knows people. Man. Well, again, Dodgers versus the Marlins today. We're gonna react tomorrow, the same time, 9:30 to 9:55. We're glad we had everyone in today. We're glad we had the chat in today. Keep on coming by. We're gonna keep reacting to the Dodgers. We'll keep talking to you in the chat. Greg, go ahead and send us off real quick. This has been a great episode today.
It's been a very good episode. Thank you guys for being here all the time. We're seeing numbers consistently rise and really appreciate you being there. Make sure to I know I hate saying these things, but make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just make sure to hit the like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. But thank you very, very much for being on the Blue Review. Marcus Grant, Parker Bell will be back tomorrow right here at 9:30 to 9:55.